Hey everybody, want to welcome you today. We're going to go over a number of topics, but three main steps on teaching every pitcher how to gain velocity. We want to teach you how to teach your pitchers how to safely gain velocity. And velocity is a key word in the pitching world. Everybody wants to gain velocity. They want to throw harder, and rightly so. You get looks from scouts, you get looks from universities. You become a better pitcher. The harder you throw, the harder it is to hit. It's pretty simple. I get a lot of questions about how to gain velocity, and there's a huge push for these weighted balls. I'm not going to talk about weighted balls a bunch. I will warn you, as I do everybody, weighted balls are dangerous, especially for young pitchers, developing pitchers who are still growing. That being said, I've worked with two pitchers recently. One's a university D1 pitcher, and one is a professional pitcher in the minor leagues. Both of them had Tommy John, and both of them were heavy into weighted balls. So, and chatting with scouts, I chatted with a major league scout. We talked about it. I chatted with a big league strength and conditioning guy. We've talked about it. Everybody is wary of it because it's so dangerous. So, good news is weighted balls aren't the only way to gain velocity. And we're going to go over three steps today on how you can teach your kids to gain velocity in a safe way. And not only a safe way, but we're going to get those arms healthier, get them stronger, so that you're actually seeing less injuries. How about that? Throwing harder, less injuries. That's the goal. And part of our goal at Pitching University is to see kids reach their dreams and goals, right? Across North America and beyond, we've seen a huge void of high quality coaches, and it's nobody's fault. There's a lot of volunteers. There's a lot of shortages of coaches, and the kids aren't getting the development they need. In our work with Pitching University and work I did prior to Pitching University and working with athletes one-on-one, working with the national team, there hasn't been a pitcher that we haven't been able to gain velocity and in a safe way, and they've been healthy along the way. So it's exciting news. But the frustrating thing is we're not seeing kids getting developed. But this is one of the main reasons we launched Pitching University, was to see our kids develop, see kids reach their dreams and goals as I got to. So before we get into it, a little bit of background on me. I was fortunate enough to get to play ball for 10 years, professional baseball for 10 years. I was a junior national team out of high school, 17th rounder by the Seattle Mariners. I didn't sign. I went to University of Washington for a year, transferred after 1 year there to Central Arizona College, and out of there I was a first-round draft pick with the Chicago White Sox. And just for reference, and this is kind of a side note that I tell a lot of pitchers, because there's a big push and a big kind of urgency. I need to throw as hard as I can, as soon as I can. When I was in grade 10, I was throwing upper 70s to 80. When I was grade 11, I was mid 80s. When I was 12th grade was the first time I hit 90 miles an hour, okay? My first year university, I hit 92. My second year at junior college, I was up to 96. Wasn't until my third year into pro ball where I was up to 98 miles an hour at 21 years old. So everybody's progression is different. We can't compare, I heard of a kid at grade 10, 11th grade throwing 98 miles an hour. Well, it's not a scale. Like everybody develops at different pace, right? So if we have a safe long-term progression, keyword safe, keyword is long-term. Okay, so we're looking long-term for our athletes. And this is what we're going to dive into today. This is what we dive into with Pitching University. We cover every aspect of being a pitcher, every aspect of being a healthy athlete. Athleticism is key. You're going to hear me use the word athlete. And when you're training your pitchers, think of being athletes, okay? We're not thinking pitchers. We're not thinking mechanical. You can end up having robots. Let's get the natural athleticism. And watch how easy your job becomes when you're teaching athletes. You get them to do an athletic move, you relate it to the mound, you take that movement with a medicine ball against a wall, you take that movement to the mound. Watch how their athlete can adapt and take a simple athletic movement and turn it into a pitching movement. And it's easier on the kids' minds too. They can become so frustrated with so many words, so many keywords, fancy words that you're going to hear. Keep it simple, keep it being athletes, okay? So step one is going to be pitching mechanics, okay? Here is where you're going to get 100 to 1,000 different ideas of what the proper pitching mechanic looks like. We're not putting anybody into a specific mold, okay? We're developing athletes. If you look at a big league game, you look at the big leagues in general, every single pitcher has a different delivery, but there's key points and key issues we need to address in the pitching delivery. This is what I'm referring to with mechanics, okay? And then mechanics are going to put us in a good position to generate power, get proper load, get maximal rotation for power, keep our arm in safe position, right? So this is what I'm talking about, mechanics. So if we talk about mechanics, let's break the body down into 3 parts, okay? We're gonna break the body down to our legs, lower legs and feet especially. Part 2 is going to be the mid part of our body, the core part of our body, glutes, hips, core. Part 3 is going to be upper body, okay? We're just going to briefly go over how these are supposed to work, okay? Now, you're thinking, I just need to build arm strength to throw harder. Well, we do need arm strength, and we're going to go over that too, but the body needs to work in unison together. We get rotational power out of the middle of our body to create velocity. Okay, so it's important that we put all the pieces together to gain velocity. And you'll see how it takes pressure off the arm and the stress off the arm, keeping the arm healthier. But first of all, real quick, we're going to go over the lower part of the body, the feet specifically. Balance and stability are keys. These would be the first keys that we work on or we implement into our pitching training. Why is balance important? Well, balance is going to create consistency. Okay? If you have a pitcher that has no balance, that is moving all over the place, wobbly knees, wobbly hips, what's that going to affect? It's going to affect their upper body, it's going to affect their shoulders, affect their arms. Every pitching delivery or every athletic movement is going to vary slightly because we've lost balance, we've lost stability. Okay? So teaching balance drills. And one of the points that I love to hit with pitchers is establishing a balance 1 point. So when the foot is in front of the rubber, the lead leg has lifted, we're going to hold that point, we're going to establish balance there, okay? We can also do balance drills on a stability ball, stability pad, single foot movements, single foot hurdle jumps, box jumps, anything dynamic or anything stationary that can train and promote single leg balance and stability, okay? This is important not only on the back leg against the rubber, but also on the landing foot. When the front foot lands, we're getting over the front side, extending, releasing the ball. We have better stability on that landing leg. It's going to promote more consistency at ball release, okay? So in consistency in a pitching delivery equals what? Strikes. Better command, better confidence on the mound. The third thing the lower body is responsible for is direction, okay? A simple thing I love to use on an indoor mound is tape. Put a line off of the front part of the back foot directly towards the target or the middle of the plate. This is the line we want to work on. We want to work especially on the close side of that line, which would be when the pitcher is facing the catcher, the arms side of the pitcher. That's the close side of that line. But we want to be working on the line or even tiny bit on the close side, definitely not on the open side. If the pitcher is landing on the open side, which as a right-hander would be the first base side, we know that something is opening early, meaning we're losing the hips early, the front shoulder is pulling off. There's something that's taking power away from the delivery that we want to be careful of. Let's get to the middle part of the body. Middle part of the body is responsible for rotation. This is where we get the majority of our power as a pitcher. Okay, so hip rotation, right? But we need the glutes loaded. We need those glutes as the power behind the hip speed. Okay, so after balance 1, we need to establish good glute load. Quick thing to check for with your pitchers is, are they bending first into their knee as the lead leg starts coming down to go down the mound, or are they bending through their hips and getting a glute load? We bend through the knee, we get quad load. We bend through the hip first, we get glute load. Think of a barbell squat if you're into weightlifting. We don't bend through the knees, we bend through the hips using our glutes. The glutes is the strongest muscle in the body. So glute load, is going to set us up to have more rotational power. Second thing is making sure that those hips are slightly on that closed side. We talked about open and closed. Hips, again, slightly on the closed side. For a right-handed pitcher, that's the third base side. We want to maintain that as long as we can until that front foot lands. We maintain that by keeping that weight back, keeping those hips closed. When that front foot lands, we have a more loaded backside to create more rotational power. The faster my hips come through, if I have strength in my core, the core translates up the body, and we're getting more rotational power through that upper body, bringing that arm through faster, creating more velocity without adding any stress to the arm. We're actually taking stress away because the arm doesn't have to work as hard, though it's moving faster through. Third component of breaking the body down is the upper body. We're going to think of working more like a Ferris wheel, okay? I just said the upper body starts rotating through. You're absolutely right. So the shoulders are going to rotate through, but what you're going to see is as the lead arm starts coming back, we're going to start seeing that lead shoulder start coming down as that lead arm tucks, okay? But we want to start working over the top. If we get that lead arm up into a good position, right? As we're starting to come down the mound, lead arm up, we use the key sighting down that lead elbow. It ensures the lead arm is up and lead arm is slightly on the closed side, keeping the shoulders closed. We now start working over the top, okay? Which is going to create angle, which is going to enable the pitcher to get on top of the ball. It's going to allow the pitcher to get through the ball, get more life, get more movement, okay? We go over this in much more depth in our course, which you're going to love to hear all this, and it's going to make it so easy for you to teach your pitchers these things. We've seen pitchers gain legit 10 miles an hour within weeks with making these mechanical adjustments, and it's easier on the arm, okay? So the steps, mechanics, they're key. Be diligent with them. Keep working these into your warm-up. You can do balance things, direction things in your throwing warm-up. They're easy to implement. Remember, always training athletes, okay? Step 2 is going to be a good throwing plan. We see so many pitchers that come back, they've thrown one bullpen, they've long tossed once in a week, and that's all they've done. You're not going to see the gains you want to see by performing once or twice a week, right? We're training athletes. We need to develop the arm strength, but we need to do it in a safe way. An off-season program needs to contain progressive long toss planning, okay? We have one of these in our package. You'll see this as well. But it's imperative that we train the kids through the off-season to build arm strength. They need to be throwing. They need to be throwing multiple times a week, not just a couple times here and there, and then all of a sudden we throw them out in a game in the spring, expect them to go 40 pitches. They're gassed out and frustrated because they can't throw strikes. You will see massive, massive improvement in velocity gains by simply having a progressive long toss off-season program, okay? But it needs to be built up, needs to be safe. Always keep in mind kids need rest after the season too. You implement rest periods in there as well. Third step in gaining velocity is a strength and conditioning program. Strength and conditioning program and mobility and flexibility and arm care. We're athletes. We need to take care of athletes' bodies, okay? They need recovery time. They need times to be pushed. They need times to be taken to that next level. But it needs to be a progressive plan put in place for every athlete. We won't do weight programs with kids over 14, but kids under that age, we do body weight programming. We do balance, we do sprint work, we do jump work, we do explosive movements. There's always movements and programs we can put together for kids of any age at any level, okay? So working in a proper strength program. And you heard me say mobility and flexibility. Mobility and flexibility is key. We're so lopsided as pitchers. We're driving off one leg, that front leg is taking so much force and torque through that hip. We're throwing with one arm, we're not throwing with the other. And we're constantly creating imbalance in the body. The more the body gets imbalanced, the more it affects us athletically, it affects the pitching delivery. One of the things towards the end of my career is my front landing hip. I was not taking care of it properly. My velocity started to drop because of that. And it was at the point where it was too late because I had never taken care of that. So the flexibility, mobility part is great for recovery, but also retaining and maintaining balance in the body, okay? So again, we have an exhaustive list of mobility with stretching, with band work, with rolling work, put together precisely for pitchers with a professional trainer. So You need to check this out, and it's simple that these athletes can add in their own time. You can add these into warm-up. You can add these into cool-down for your pitchers. Okay, so easy things you can implement in there, and it makes your job easy. So you can add it to a warm-up. Okay, here's our warm-up, but everything is productive and working towards a better moving body and creating and maintaining balance in that body. Okay, the conditioning part. One of the old school things that I was told was run till you puke. And there's something to that. We want to have constructive running. We want to train distance. We want to train interval training. We want to train sprint training and short burst speed as well for the body to be well-rounded and be powerful. But 100 pitches in, 2.5 hours into a game, 9th inning, when your body just wants to fall over, your brain's down, your arms falling off, then you'll know what it means to have run till you puke. A little short story, when I was at college in Arizona, I would run 3 miles every day before practice. I literally would run around the foul line, pole to pole, and back behind home plate. I burned a track in the grass because I ran 3 miles every single day. I'm not saying you need to make your pitchers run 3 miles every single day, but that's in my mind what I need to do, what I wanted to do. And I could go 9 innings and my velocity never dropped. And when I was in college, I would sit 94 to 96. And in the 7th inning, I was sitting 94 to 96. And my condition was part of it. We would run hills. We would run it down at Central. We'd have to run the water tower. So there has to be room in the conditioning program to just get after it some days. Have a plan, but we got to get after it with that conditioning too. And then arm care. Okay, last thing, and then we're going to wrap things up, but the arm care is important too. Band work, lightweight work, stretching work. You need to have a plan in place, pre-throwing, post-throwing, off days as well. We build shoulder strength, elbow strength, arm strength, and it's going to care for the arm. Okay. Again, we have this put together in our package, and it's all there for you. I keep talking about our packages put together. Our coach's package is designed to make every coach confident, and I'm going to say an expert. You can be an expert at teaching pitchers, but a well-rounded, conditioned athlete. The step-by-step course goes through the mechanics, goes through the delivery, goes through arm care, goes through rolling sequences, goes through stretching sequences. We have a strength program on there that's designed for older kids, but we're getting ready to launch our youth strength program as well. The plan is there. We have a discount code. It's going to pop up on your screen for you. We're giving you a 20% discount code. It's a limited time discount code, but it's risk-free. We have a money-back guarantee. We know that when you get on here and you check out this program, you're going to go through our courses. They're broken down into easy sections that you can follow at your own pace. The membership never ends. You have it for life. Okay? But sign up, risk-free. You get your money back if you don't like it. But if you don't like it, shoot me an email and tell me why, and we're going to make it better. Our goal is to enable you to teach all your pitchers to be stronger, to throw harder, to reach their goals and dreams. Because I'll tell you what, getting to pitch in Yankee Stadium is an amazing thing. You get lit up sometimes you have success, but having that knowledge, having that expertise now has enabled me to give back to you, give back to our youth. Okay? But watching kids, now I get to see kids getting D1 scholarships, getting drafted. I know I've helped these kids get there. And it's not about me, it's about them. And that's one of the last keys I want to leave you with as a coach. This is just a little bit of coaching from heart to heart, is it's not about us, it's about our kids. What's best for our kids? What's best for their long-term dreams and goals? Because I promise you, any accomplishment we can do as athletes or coaches is going to be far surpassed by what we see our athletes doing. So keep investing in your kids and come check out Pitching University. We're looking forward to having you on our team.